Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes opened last week, and this is going to be my heavy spoiler and highlight review. So if you haven't seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies from the past decade, I highly recommend you go check them out and come back and hang out with me, your buddy Michael. But without further ado, let's talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is directed by Wes Ball of the Maze Runner franchise, written by Josh Friedman of War of Worlds, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver of Avatar: The Way of Water, and Patrick Asen from Prey. Which, if you've seen any of those movies, this movie feels a lot like those, so it makes perfect sense to bring those writers on board. So right away we open with the ending of War of the Planet of the Apes, with Caesar and the colony escaping the facility and a huge avalanche. They journey to the oasis where Caesar reveals his mortal wound to Maurice, and he dies peacefully knowing that his colony is safe in their new home. The movie opens up with his fellow apes laying flowers on him as they commence a funeral pyre. It's bittersweet to see their leader leave this world, but he's given a beautiful warrior send-off as the apes link their knuckles above their heads, symbolizing apes together strong. And we see in the background what will later become a religious symbol for Caesar. It's Caesar's window from the first movie. This movie takes place many generations after the War of the Planet of the Apes. We later find out that it's about 300 years after the last movie. And now we have a new protagonist named Noah, and we see him and his two friends exploring what I believe is LA. But by now, all of the wildlife and vegetation has taken over the streets and the buildings. Noah and his friends Anaya and Suna are climbing these buildings, and it's full of lush vegetation. And there's something so beautiful about this dystopian future where nature has kind of taken back what the humans stole.
Message!
The scene basically introduces you to Noah and his colony, who are like falconers, but they train eagles. And what they do is they go and they climb the nest to find an eagle's egg so they can pair bond with the egg. It's kind of like a rite of passage for these chimps to go through, and it's very important to them. And instantly you can feel the friendship between these three. You got Noah, Suna, and Anaya. They're kind of like the dorky kids, and one of them's super scared of everything, and Noah probably likes the girl ape, and it's really cool. I'm super locked in because I like these types of movies. The apes still use sign language, but now they're speaking more fluent English compared to the last movie. And very quickly you get a glimpse into the conservation and nature of this eagle clan. They preserve at least one of the eggs left in the nest so that there will always be wild eagles, because without eagles there is no eagle clan.
Message!
So Noah offers two of the eggs to his friends, where he has to climb an even higher nest, which they call top nest, and he has to get the final egg so that he can be part of this ceremony. And a huge eagle comes and boom, knocks him off the nest, and he's falling. Boom! But he ends up surviving because he's a natural badass. He's greatly praised for his courage and going to the top nest, and it's kind of giving me Avatar vibes, I'm not gonna lie. As they return to the horses, they see a human steal their blanket, and it's funny because they call the humans Echo. And it's very interesting because it's like an echo of what the humans used to be. It's a shadow. It's a derivative of where the humans were. And it's kind of echoed off into these subhumans. They don't really talk. They're not very smart.
You guys talk funny. Say more words.
We later see hostile apes run down and follow Noah to his colony and burn down the village. And one of the apes kills Noah's father right in front of him. Savage. These apes wore rustic armor and would look to be like a cattle prod, so somehow these apes have regained the knowledge of electricity and they're using it as a weapon to shock the apes into submission. These naughty apes had a gorilla with them, and he's fighting Noah on the top of the tower, and before he knocks him off, he says, "For Caesar," and he shocks him and knocks him off the tower, leaving Noah to fall to his death. It's really messed up because they know who Caesar is from hundreds of years ago, but now they're taking his name in vain. So Noah falls, boom! Noah barely survives the fall, and he awakes the next day, and he sees the whole village is turned to ash, and all of his family and friends are captured, and we see his father laying there dead, and he buries him, very, very sad, and he promises that he's gonna get his village back and retrieve them and bring them home. At this point, I realize I'm getting a lot of Avatar and Lion King vibes. I'm really digging it. I'm digging the scenery, the animals, the special effects. It's all really coming together, and I like how it's really tying together this hero's journey. And I'm locked in at this point. This is probably like 15 minutes in. Noah then travels through what I believe is LA, because you can see the Dodger Stadium, you can see freeways, you can see buildings, and he falls through a trap laid by an orangutan. The orangutan is named Raka. He's one of the coolest characters in the movie, voiced by Peter Macon. Raka is interested in books and teachings and following the word of Caesar. He even calls the group the Order of Caesar. He even wears a necklace with Caesar's symbol on it, and he very quickly teaches Noah that symbols have meanings and that Caesar led with compassion, strength, and loyalty. So this is when we get to Caesar as a religious figure, and we learn that his rules and teachings can be interpreted in different ways by different groups throughout time. Caesar always said, "Together apes strong," but we will later learn that Proximus Caesar takes that phrase and puts it in a whole different direction, making other apes do physical and manual labor on his behalf. So now we have Noah and Raka traveling together, and he's learning more and more about Caesar and his past and the history of the apes. And we see our human protagonist crawl out by the campfire. Her name is Nova. She's played by Freya Allen, who you might recognize from The Witcher. Raka throws an apple to her and names her Nova, and he says that they named all of them Nova during Caesar's time. This comes from the little girl in War of the Planet of the Apes, where Caesar named her Nova after the Nova car ornament that she kept playing with. Then there's another Nova from the original Planet of the Apes in 1968, where Taylor the astronaut names the woman Nova, which is Linda Harrison's character. See, I'm telling you, this movie has lots of echoes and rhymes and mirrors. It's very interesting, and I'm waiting for something to bring it all together, and it might happen in the next movie. So the next morning we have Nova, Noah, and Raka. They're traveling on horseback, and they stumble upon a herd of zebra. So I'm guessing it's close to the zoo. And we also see a herd of humans come, and they're in loincloths, and they're more savagery. They can't even talk because the virus takes away your ability to speak. Everything's cool until the hostile apes show up, and they begin chasing the humans running through the tall grass. And again, it's a mirrored image, a scene from the original 1968 Planet of the Apes. And they're even using the nets. I mean, they love those damn nets, man. Get your filthy, disgusting paws off me, you dirty ape. Even a similar overhead shot of Nova running through the tall grass that's exactly like the Planet of the Apes from 68. And this is when she yells Noah's name, and it kind of reminds me of when Caesar yelled no in the first movie. Noah and no. She then runs towards Noah, and she leaps off of a log into his arms, and it's similar to the 68 version where Taylor the astronaut leaps off a log and he knocks the apes off their horses because the nets get trapped on the log. And this is when Nova speaks, and it scares the hell out of Raka. He even drops his bag. It's super funny. She then tells Noah that she knows where his clan is going. She knows where they're taking them, and that she's also on the way to a human settlement. And when asked why they kept this a secret, why she was lying, she reveals that it was for her own protection and that her name is actually May. Bad apes catch up to them on a bridge and ambush our heroes. Raka rescues May with a rope and holds on for dear life. Ah! Then comes big ass Silva on a horse, and he cuts the rope, and Raka is lost at sea, and we don't know if he's dead or not, but we actually never see him again. We have to say goodbye to our friend Raka. I was so sad because he is the coolest character. He's charismatic, he's knowledgeable, he follows the teachings of Caesar. Now captured by the naughty apes, May and Noah are led across the ocean coastline, which mimics the ending of Planet of the Apes, where Charlton Heston finds the Statue of Liberty. We see the rusty naval ships and the home of Proximus Caesar, and we also get a glimpse of the symbol of Caesar, drawn on the side of the naval ship. The landscapes in this movie are truly something to behold. You can see the rusty naval ships in the background, all the debris along the coastline, and there's something beautiful about nature reclaiming the earth and taking over technology and ships and boats and towers. I love it. And we get a wide angle shot of all the other apes in this imprisonment camp, and they're rebuilding a dam, and they're being led by our new Caesar, Proximus. And you've seen it in the trailer. He comes down and the congregation is yelling and cheering for him, and he says,
What a wonderful day!
The crowd seems to love him, and he has a strong following. They're very loyal, but you can tell that he wants them to be more submissive. This is not a democratic society. They turn their paws down instead of up with Caesar. Caesar would ask for permission with his paw up. These guys all turn their paw down as he walks by. Then see Proximus directing a bunch of apes trying to pull down this bunker, rip it open so that he can get the knowledge and the power that's behind this bunker. Also try to use explosives to no avail. This is a bunker, military grade. It's not coming open. Bomb goes off. There's a bunch of apes that are injured, and Proximus is just like, maybe tomorrow will be stronger. Like, he just doesn't care. He's like, tomorrow we'll try again. What Proximus is trying to do is he's trying to protect his people. He's trying to protect the apes. But the way he's going about it is very wrong. You know, he's enslaving all these other apes, trying to make them do his will. They're using physical force. They're using manual labor. But at the end of the day, this is what it takes to protect the apes from going back in cages. He feels that once he gets the power and the technology that's behind that human bunker, that he'll take a leap forward in evolution and he will be able to remain in power and protect the apes. And Proximus is played by Kevin Durant. This guy is super underrated. You've seen him in Legion. You've seen him as the Blob in X-Men. You've seen him in Wild Hogs. This guy is truly a wild card. He's one of those character actors that loves playing the weird, the crazy, but now he gets to be front and center as our main antagonist. He starts making all the other apes chant, together strong, and over again, he's getting them pumped up. He's getting them to follow his leadership, and they even put their knuckles above their heads to symbolize apes strong together. Later on, Suna, Anaya, and Noah and May sneak onto the top of the bunker to scale down. Instead of trying to blow the bunker open, they go ahead and climb all the way to the top, since Noah and his tribe are really good climbers. Once they get inside, you can see the remnants of a human civilization. There's classrooms, there's bunkers. Inside of bunkers, there's different hallways. It's a whole community structure, but there's no humans to be found. And this is where it gets really interesting. We see what May's true intentions were. She's really smart. Her human settlement is actually very intelligent. And what they're trying to do is reestablish communications on a larger scale. So she finds a SATCOM key, which is satellite communications, and she plans on taking it back to the humans so that they can turn on an old satellite system and reopen communications with other humans. At the same time, in the other room, Noah, Suna, and Anaya are looking at a children's book. They're looking at what seems to be a book about the zoo, and they can see animals and apes behind cages while the humans gawk and laugh at them. And while they're looking at this book, they all look at each other and they're like, holy shit, that crazy psycho Proximus was right. Never trust a human. As the four leave the bunker, they're trying to escape. The doors open now that the power's turned on. And then who's standing there waiting? Proximus and all of his minions. And then in a desperate attempt to escape, May shoots one of the apes. And Proximus isn't even mad. He's very intrigued. He's like, is there more weapons like that inside the bunker? Where'd you find it? She realizes she can't hand over the bunker to the apes. It's way too much of a liability. These guys are really smart. They're going to figure out how to use guns and weapons and communications. So she runs over and she explodes the dam using the dynamite that they strapped to it. And all the water starts rushing in. And all the apes are starting to drown. They're going crazy. And they're going crazy. They're dying. But Noah and his tribe are climbers. So they go in the bunker and they start climbing to the very, very top as it fills up with water. And of course, wouldn't you know it, we see Silva, the big gorilla, attack Noah, and he's beating him. He's stronger. He's more aggressive. But Noah outsmarts him by climbing through pipes that the gorilla can't fit through. And then he ends up drowning. It's such a dirty death. Noah is a savage, man. I love it. And then we see Noah climb all the way to the top. And who's waiting for him again? It's Proximus. They start fighting. Proximus is far more superior. He's stronger. Noah has nothing left to give. He's gassed. He's tired. He's gotten his ass kicked by Silva. And Proximus is beating the shit out of him. And Noah realizes that he needs to use what he has. He is from an Eagle clan. So he starts to sing the Eagle clan song that his father taught him. And sure enough, the eagles start attacking Proximus, clawing him, scratching him, biting him, until he falls off the cliff to his death, presumably. That was the big climax. I love that part. I really didn't see it coming to where he started singing the song. I thought that was pretty awesome, pretty touching. You know, it's just a callback to where he comes from and his father, who was the eagle leader or whatever. He was the eagle king. And now Noah's the Eagle King. So Noah then completes his promise. He takes his clan back home. He rescued them just like he promised his father. And everything's going good. And in comes May. Now May has this blue jacket on. You know, she's not a savage human like the others. You know, she definitely has some other secrets that she's not telling Noah. Noah and May are saying their goodbyes, but they also start kind of arguing because they're arguing about the values of Caesar and what it means to have peace and harmony between the two species. And Noah finally realizes that maybe Proximus was right. Humans can't be trusted. They will destroy everything that they get their hands on. And in the last gesture of friendship, Noah takes off Rocca's necklace and he gives it to May, and it has Caesar's symbol on there of his window. And it's just like this last farewell between the two species, knowing that maybe someday they still can be friends, that there's peace here, that they made it through this journey together. Humans and apes can work together. So May leaves and you see her on horseback going through a long old valley. It's desolate and there's nothing there, but she does stumble upon this bunker that seems to be underground, and she opens the door and there's a woman in a hazmat suit, and May hands over the SATCOM key. The woman in the hazmat suit takes it back under the bunker and she cleans herself. She rids herself of all the germs in the decontamination chamber. Turn it on and the old satellite system seems to work after this key was put in. And then they hear somebody on the other side of the radio communicating and saying hello. And then they start celebrating because now the humans can talk and communicate with other areas. And I believe it says Fort Wayne, Indiana on the radio. And that's exactly where astronaut Tyler is from the original Planet of the Apes. At the end of the movie, we see Noah and Suna go to the observatory and they both look through the telescope, and you can see, you know, the excitement on their face, the intrigue of what they're looking at. And I believe they're looking at the stars or possibly another planet. It doesn't really show you, but it's kind of fascinating to see that the apes are looking at space at the very end of the movie, and the humans are beginning to communicate with other humans with Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is where Tyler is from. He's the main guy from this 1968 Planet of the Apes. So I'm really curious to see where it goes, guys. This was a big movie. It's making tons of money. I think it passed $100 million the first week at the box office. Here's my final thoughts on the movie, guys. I love the movie. I like the soundtrack. I liked all the pieces from the original Planet of the Apes that they're trying to put together with this one. There's plenty of Easter eggs. The acting was top notch. The CGI was wonderful. The motion cap. You know, I really believe that these were apes. I was there live. I love the landscape. It was great. It was a really good movie. It wasn't bloated. It was actually quite contained, but it felt like the world growing, like they were trying to build this new universe in this new chapter of the Planet of the Apes. And that's why I'm going to give Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes,
No, don't do it.
an A-. Or a 90 if you're a numbers guy. So anyways, thank you guys for sticking around. If you made it to this part of the video, that means you have a lot of love, or either you're super bored and you just put me on your headphones. But I really thank you for sticking around. Before you go, guys, if you like this video, please hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and smash that like button so you're up to date with my latest videos. I'm trying to do more videos. It's time consuming, but I love it. And as always, guys, how do I leave you? I want to thank you. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. God bless, and we will see you on the next one.